Hi, I'm GeoDav, and in this video we're going to actually get down to the nitty-gritty of coding or programming our first weapon. Now, what do we need for this? Well, the first thing you're going to need is some source code. So where do you get that from? Well, very easily, just Google for Unreal Developer Network, as you can see it right here, and you'll come to eventually, making sure you follow the right links, come to this web page. Now what we need, being modders, is the Unreal Engine 3 development. As it says here, Unreal Tournament 3 mods. Click on that, and now you'll see here under the latest updates, latest patch has now been released. Well, that's actually for the 2.0 patch, and the code here is still at the moment the 2.4. Now you can either click on it on there, the 2.4, the 2.0, although it does say here 1.4. Trust me, that's the source code that we need. So click on it, download it, unpack it where you need it. The next thing we're going to need, I've got a little bit in front of myself here, there we go, is context. Now why do I use context? Well, that's what I learned I won't say program, because I can't program to save my life, but it's what I've learned to use to get the job done. Okay, so download that, install it if you want to follow these videos. If you're not, well, if you're going to use another text program, then go for that. The other thing you need when you're using context is a highlighter. So you go down to downloads, highlighters, U to Z, download and install, or as it says here, just place it in that folder, context highlighters, and that's us ready for that. Now, what else do we need to do? Well, you need to set up a few folders and another little thing before we even start thinking about programming. So where do we go first? Right, this is a Vista setup, so we'll go to Desktop, GeoDav, Documents, as you can see, My Games, Unreal Tournament 3, UT Game. Now don't worry about this stuff here, because obviously I'm a modder, so I've got things like that lying around on my hard drive. Now what we need to do is go into SRC, just open that. Now yes, I've got other things here as well, because as you might have known, I do help people out occasionally. So what do we need to do here? Well, what we need is an actual folder setup for our source code. So all we're going to do is make a new folder. Now don't worry about this all being in German, because I live in Germany, my Vista is in German and I can't get it in English, so we'll just have to bear with it. So what we're going to call our project. Well, how about something really clever like UT3 underscore GeoShock. Now how does that sound? Really clever? Yeah, okay then, let's go for that then. Now in there you also need another folder called classes. Alright, and this is where we'll be putting our UC files in very shortly. Now before we start going onto programming, there's one more thing that we have to do to get all this to work. Now you see I've clicked on the config folder, go on to the UT editor ini file, open that up. Now if you go somewhere down near the bottom, he said somewhere, there we go, mod packages. Now what we need to do is tell the editor that we've actually got a mod package. Now what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to semicolon that out. That's one of the packages I was looking at, obviously other ones that I've been prepping. Now if you do multiple packages, obviously all you have to do is put a semicolon in front of it and the editor won't even look at it. Okay, so we'll just copy, get on the second line, paste that in there. Now obviously what name do we need? Well, we need the name of that folder. Okay, so I could do a copy and paste, but I'll just type this one out. GeoShock. Double check that I have not made a typo. Okay, now all we do then is save, and we're done with that one. So what else do we need? Well, to be honest, we need some source code, because unless you're one of these really intelligent people that can program from nothing, then we need somewhere to start. So all you have to do, as you can see, I've unrad or unpacked the UT3 source code 1.4, development src, go down to UT game. So you see what I mean? UT game classes. This is the setup that Epic use, and this is the setup we have to use. So you get all these UC files. Now, as you can see from the little icons, my UC files have already been associated with context. So if I double click on these, context will automatically open. So what do we need? Now I'm scrolling near enough all the way down the bottom, because that's where the weapons are, or the source code for the weapons. Okay, so what do we need? Well, I'm using the shock rifle, so let's use UT Weapon _ shock rifle. Now I'm just going to double click onto that, and that takes it straight away into context. Now what else do we need to do? Well, have a look at my super duper list. Now I make these purely because if you're constantly having to do this, open Unreal Editor, having to then close it and then recompile, and then made a mistake, made a typo, done this, done that, it's just time consuming. So this little text file will actually help you save in the long run probably quite a lot of time. So let's go here. Let's go all the way up to the top. The first thing that we need to do before you go anywhere else is change this name. So what do we change that to? I bet you can't guess. Yeah, you're right. GeoShock. Now, once we've done that, I'm just going to select it all. There we go. Copy it. And now I'm going to save as. So where do we save it as? As you can see, I'm zipping up here. Here we go. Into src. UT3 GeoShock classes. Now we don't want to save with that name, because that will just cause all sorts of problems. Just paste in our name, UT Weapon GeoShock. Now that has to match there. Now because it's already a UC file, then context will automatically save it as a UC file, and you don't have to add the bit on the end. Great, that's the first thing that we need to do. What's the next thing? Well, this is a little something that has caught a lot of people out that are using this source code for the first time. If you try and compile this as it is, you will get the unexpected I error, as we call it. And the way to get rid of that is to go up onto Tools, Convert Text to Unicode. And that's that. Constantly saving it. Right, next thing we need to do, because if we compile this, all you're going to get in the game is another shock rifle, and it'll look like a shock rifle because we haven't changed anything. So we're just slowly scrolling down, looking at. When you start looking at these things, you'll actually see that Epic have put in little comments what certain bits are for, like for bot combos. That obviously tells the bot how to do the combo. You know, the beam and the ball. Yeah. The weapon firing code, when the weapon is done firing, handles what to do next. To be honest, it completely confuses me, because I haven't got a clue. Well, I say I haven't got a clue what this lot does. I can look at it and go, yeah, okay, that sort of deals with that sort of thing, and that deals with that sort of thing. But these are the bits that we're interested in. The default properties. And comments, weapon skeletal mesh. Begin object, anim node sequence, mesh sequence, all sorts of wonderful things there. So what do we need to change? The first thing we need to change is these bits. Now, as you can see, WP shock rifle mesh SK WP shock rifle 1P. Now that is obviously pointing to the, as it says there, first person mesh. So what do we do with that? Well, very simple. Go over to our little list here. Alright. Now, what have I done wrong there? I know what I've done wrong there. So what we'll do, because I forgot to make a note of my package name, so just copy that. Now obviously my package name goes in here, paste. Now anywhere you see WP, well not quite anywhere you see, but when we're talking about the meshes, WP, change that, paste. Now what else do we need to change here? Okay, we need to change the mesh. So copy all that and paste that into there. So now if we compiled this, it would pick up our mesh, my super duper weapon, and put that into the game. Now the other thing we need to do is the anims. Now I'm quite certain I actually didn't use anim as the group folder. I used anims. This is where making your list, as you can see here, I made the list. It helps so much to avoid typos. So just type in our anim set name, well, paste it in because I'm lazy. Now we're going down, we'll go, oh hang on a minute, what's this here? Attachment class. Where does that come from? Yet again, you've got your main weapon class, which is actually for the first person view. Okay, what you need for the third person, the one that the bots all run around with, is your attachment. Now obviously because of the way I've set this up as sort by name, you get the attachments right at the top and the weapons right at the bottom. So all we'll do there is, I can't see what I'm doing, shock rifle, there we go, double click on that. Now I should have done this right at the start, but I was getting a little bit ahead of myself. So what do we do here? Oh, very simply, very simply, we'll just copy the name GeoShock, go into attachments, well, into the UT attachment file, change that, paste, file, save as, paste. Now as you can see here, it's gone straight back to the source code, so be very careful. Okay, now one too far. Here we go, into GeoShock classes, pardon me, and save that as, no, that's not what we want to save that as, is it? No. So cancel that, for some reason it's picked up the wrong name, so copy that again as we go. Back up the classes, or the folders I should say, GeoShock classes, there we go, paste that in there. So is there any more code that we actually need? Code files? Well, believe it or not, yes there is, because I've just remembered. It's one of those things that if you're doing it every day, then it'll come automatically. If you don't, you got to think about it. And at the moment, I'm just looking for it. There we go. UT ammo. Okay, you need something to shoot. Well, you don't need something to shoot, but obviously it needs a pickup. Okay, now as you can see, well, I'll explain. Shall I do it? Yeah, go on, do it now. Go on. Alright, what we do, copy, paste, and yet again, copy, file, save as, and up we go, up we go, up we go, there we go, down we go, down we go, and paste that in there. So now we've actually got our 3 files that we need. Now what I'm going to do here, just very quickly, for the ammo file, is I'm going to change that, the amount of ammo you get when you get the pickup. So instead of 8, let's go silly and put 16 in there. Alright. Now target weapon. Well, target weapon class is obviously our UT Weapon GeoShock. This is where you're going to, until you get used to everything, you're just going to be bouncing backwards and forwards like what I'm doing here. Copy and pasting, making sure you've got everything that you need. Now we didn't do a static mesh for the pickup. Okay, we didn't do an actual ammo pickup, which is my fault because I completely forgot about it. Okay, so that's done. Save that one, and we can actually just double check target weapon. Yeah, we don't need to change that, don't need to change that or any of that before I forget, because I need to convert it to Unicode. Save it again, we can close that one. Okay, so what do we need here? Well, at the moment we need that name. We're just going to copy the attachment class name. Just make sure we go down, 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 down. Yeah, very clever. And attachment class. This is just basically everything linking it up together. Now obviously our weapon is, or our attachment class is not in the UT game folder, is it? No, it's in the UT3 underscore GeoShock folder. Okay, very simple. Don't forget, that's where that's going to be. It's going to be in, let me just point it out just in case, in here, UT3 GeoShock classes. Fine. So where are we going now? Back here. What else do we need to change? Well, we need to change the pickup mesh. Now the pickup mesh is obviously the one that you see spinning around on the pickups bit. You know, quite simple. You know, pickup mesh, that's what you pick up. So obviously we need to know what one that is. Well, it used to be many years ago a different one. Now I can see I'm going to have problems here, because I know for a fact that I've changed a few names. So what we're going to do here about it here, paste, I'm going to take a wild guess and call it 3p. The same as that one is going to be 1p. Now it's this is one of the problems of me not preparing things correctly and rushing through. So if I get an error when I compile this, we'll know why. Okay, so what else do we need to change on the main weapon code? Well, let's go down a bit further. Weapon types we want to leave, projectiles we want to leave that. Instant hit damage we can get by rights. I'll be very honest with you, you should make your own damage type. Now for just testing and playing around, we can get away with not doing it. Now you keep on looking down. Fire camera ramming, well that's won't touch things like that. What else? Well, you've got the muzzle flash. Now, if you remember muzzle flash socket MF, yeah, this is where it all starts linking together. Now, I expect at some stage they did have the muzzle flash socket being muzzle flash socket that we pasted in. As you can see, muzzle flash socket. Must have caused some problems, that's why they probably changed it. So that file at the moment is finished. So we'll just save that. Attachment class. Now notice I'm not getting rid of that at the moment, because when we start going down here, you'll start seeing things that we're going to have to change. Now one of the little things that I've noticed is when spawn beam, you might, if you leave this as it is, you might not actually get the beam spawning from the correct point, and that's because it's looking for the UT Weapon shock rifle. Well, that's not what we're using. We're using the GeoShock. So all we do is go back up here, copy, paste that in there, and that should keep us happy. Now scrolling down, making sure, checking. I mean, you can try and read through all this all you want, but it confuses me, so let's just leave it at that. What else have we got to change? Well, before we go on to the mesh bit, a little thing that sort of jumps out and smacks me in the eye is the weapon class. Now we just, as we did further up, just paste the name in, UT Weapon GeoShock. So now that links to there, yeah. And where was it? Up a bit. There we go. The attachment class links. Well, in the weapon, the attachment class links to there, to the attachment file. It's like a never-ending loop. It's just making sure that everything joins together. So what else do we need to do here? Well, the last thing we need to do is actually change the third person mesh. Okay, here's me sort of slowing down because I'm making sure I'm saying things correctly. Now obviously, because I'm quite certain I made a bit of a slight boo-boo there with my file, I will just paste that in and make sure I've got 3p at the end. Now if I get loads of errors coming up, we'll know why. Now obviously that's not in the shock rifle package, that's in the GeoShock package. I'll just copy, paste, and just looking through. Now these ones down here, they're the particle effects, the sounds, muzzle flash stuff. Yet again, to be very honest, if you're making a weapon of your own, full hock, doing everything, you really want to do these all yourself. Now I'm not going to go that deep at this moment in time, maybe sometime in the near future, but because to be honest, I've had a look at some of these and I've been going, huh? But anyway, it's more to learn and a bit too much at the moment for what we need. So I'm just scrolling up here, moving up, making sure I think I've got everything sort of sussed out, ready to go. So we'll just save that. Now what do we do now? Well, you get a lot of people saying, well, use make. You know, well, how do you use make? Is that typing in commands and all sorts of things? Well, I'm very lazy on this, so I'll just close this down a bit. Get rid of that, get rid of that. What are we doing? There we go, that's better. Right, now all I do is I open, or I try to open, the editor. Now if you haven't got the editor, and you think, well, where on earth is it? A very simple thing to do is take your UT3 icon, make a copy of it, right click on it, I know it says Eigenschaft, because that's German for properties. Yep, you guessed it. Now in here, in this little bit here, so I'll go all the way to the left, C program files, blah 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 blah, and that's what this is the bit that's important. At the very end, outside the colon, that's not the colon, exclamation or whatever it's called, I can never remember, you need to type the name editor. Click on accept and then OK, and every time you then click on it, obviously give it a different name, you know, like UT3 ed, you will then be able to access the editor a lot easier. Now, because we've got UC files that have been saved in a folder, a mod project folder that UT-ed has not checked on. Now every time you save, UT-ed will recognise the fact that something's changed and will recompile. And the way, well, I don't know how it does it, but all we have to do is double click on it. You get this little message, scripts are out of date, would you like to rebuild now? Answer being yeah for yes. It disappears and you go, is it not doing anything? Well, yeah, it is, to be honest. It's working a little bit in the background, and I'll burble at you for a couple of minutes and go, oh, come on. Yes, here we go, it's coming, we know it is. We're waiting. Now this can take, there we go. It can take a little while for this to come up. Okay, it's probably because I'm recording. Now, yeah, see here we have a error. Now what error? Oh look, guess what I have not done. Now this is the one that I was going on about a few minutes ago. The error unexpected I, or whatever that sign says. So what was that? Well, it's the attachment class, UT attachment GeoShock line 1. You're like that? Well, line 1's there. Just don't get it. Alright, so all we do, exit. Now this is a known problem when using this on Vista. So we'll just go UT attachment GeoShock. What I didn't do is convert text to Unicode. Now convert it to Unicode, save it. Now I haven't done anything apart from converted it. Now if I double click on that, yet again it says, do you want to rebuild now? Because I actually changed it and resaved it. That's all you have to do. I mean, sometimes all I do is go down to the bottom and go return, making some extra spaces at the bottom, and it knows it. So here we go. And if everything works, you will actually get this parsing, compiling, GeoShock, importing defaults, yeah, fine. Looks like it's found everything. Now the good thing when we're doing weapons, it will actually create you any file for your weapon. Now this is quite important. I'll show you why shortly. Just remove that. Let's open my Explorer again. Maximize that out. Go into, here we go. No, not all the saves. Now where is it? There we go, right at the top. UT3 GeoShock ini file. Now if we open this, it tells you wonderful little things like the class name, the ammo class path, flags, I don't know, friendly username, well we'll just shorten that to GeoShock, description, let's see, Geos shock gun. Okay, go back a bit, make that a capital, yeah. That's all you have to do for that. Save it, and that's ready. Now I'm going to stop recording here and actually make a separate video of us looking at this in the game, because I'm going to change this to make things a little bit easier on my machine. I'm going to record it at a different setting or a different video. Instead of my usual full screen, I'm going to just go for a smaller UT3 screen that I work with. Okay, so we'll just leave that. That's, believe it or not, is all the coding that we have to do for this weapon, unless I've boo-booed. I'm not saying I don't, but I boo-boo quite a lot. So we'll just leave it at that, and the next video will actually show what it is in game. Okay, see you there soon.